I didn't expect that under the governance of the Su family, the people of Distant Guard would dare to openly draw their swords against the imperial officials. Just now, Shenlang, Su Nan's nephew Su Lin, and Ku Nan, the head monk from the Great Calamity Temple, had their first confrontation. After that, Su Lin led the group into the Lord's mansion. As everyone was observing the interior, Su Lin stepped forward and said, "Brother-in-law, you all have been weary from the journey. I won't bother you anymore today. Tomorrow night at my chief clerk's mansion, I will host a welcome banquet for you. You must come." Shenlang smiled and responded, "Thank you, cousin, for your trouble. But isn't this a setup for a trap?" Su Lin was startled, but then laughed. "Of course, it's a trap. Do you dare to come?" Shenlang, still dismissive, smiled. "Of course, I will definitely attend on time." After Su Lin left, Shen 13 hurriedly reported, "Master, although there is food in the Lord's mansion, it's all soaked in sewage. There are 3 wells in the courtyard, but 2 are filled with filth and rotting corpses. Only 1 well seems clean. Fill these 3 wells for me, and then find a new spot nearby to dig a well." As he finished speaking, Shen 13 looked troubled. "Master, this place is near the harsh, cold western regions, and underground water is scarce. If we dig a new well, it might take several days to find water. What about our drinking water for these days?" At that moment, Wu Lai came back to the mansion with her troops. Shenlang directly said to her, "Wu Lai, take your men to the city shops to buy drinking water and food for the next 7 days." Wu Lai also looked troubled. "Young Master Shen, I just took a look around the city with the sisters, and I sensed strong hostility towards us everywhere. It seems under the Su family's influence, they surely won't sell us food." Shenlang responded seriously, "I'm spending money to buy goods. That makes us their guests. If they refuse to sell, then it's their fault." Wu Lai was startled. "Their fault? Then what?" At that moment, Shenlang's face showed a ruthless smile. "Since it's their fault, there's no need to show mercy." Moments later, after all arrangements were made, Shenlang went up to the lookout tower of the Lord's mansion. When he saw the Distant Guard Marquis mansion at the top, he was stunned. Su Nan had built the Marquis castle on a steep mountain over a kilometer high. The walls of this castle were thicker and taller than those of the main fortress in Furious Tide City, making it the first architectural marvel Shenlang had seen in this world. However, Shenlang sneered inwardly, "No fortress is too strong to prevent me from slaughtering a city, right? Let's warm up today by cleaning out those crooked merchants. Then we can start cleaning up the corrupt officials and guards within the city." According to the plan, it should only take another month to completely eradicate the Su family. Meanwhile, at the high platform of the Distant Guard Marquis mansion, the rebel Su Nan was also observing everything inside Distant Guard City. At this moment, Su Lin came to report, "Uncle, that Shenlang has already settled in the Lord's mansion." Su Nan nodded and then asked, "What about Zhang Chong? Any news from him?" Su Lin continued to report, "Zhang Chong should be entering White Knight County the day after tomorrow." As soon as he finished speaking, Su Nan's elder brother, Su Quan, also came over and said, "My lord, all the troops are now assembled. Our family's 8,000 private soldiers, the 6,000 horse thieves from Three-Eyed Evil, 5,000 allied troops from the western regions, and 2,000 monk soldiers from the Great Calamity Temple, totaling 21,000 troops, are ready to be deployed at any time." However, Su Nan did not react much to this military strength but instead asked, "What about the garrison in Western Celestial Province and the Central Command Office?" Su Quan seemed emotionally charged as he answered, "Both sides haven't given a clear response. One side claims loyalty to the sovereign, while the other insists they will never forget their friendship with you, my lord." After hearing this, Su Nan sarcastically said, "Truly dogs caught between 2 masters. That garrison in Western Celestial Province, less than 10,000 strong, has already been thoroughly infiltrated by us. Which of the officers above the rank of 100 households hasn't taken our money?" After saying this, he turned and walked inside, heading straight for the military map. His gaze swept past Distant Guard and White Knight County, landing on the border between the states of Chu and Yu and the province of the Southern Journey. Province of the Southern Journey. The timing of our troops' deployment depends entirely on external factors. Once the Chu Kingdom's army ties down Zhongyao's hundreds of thousands of Western troops, my Su family in the state of Chang can merge. By then, possessing 6 districts and 30 cities in Western Celestial Province, along with Chang, would be more than enough for a dukedom. He sneered coldly, "Ming Yuanxian, you incompetent general with greater ambition than talent. Zhang Chong might be somewhat capable, and Shenlang is nothing but a sly trickster. To think you could rely on these 2 to stop me from taking Western Celestial Province is a huge joke." At that moment, Su Lin suddenly spoke up, "Uncle, I have invited Shenlang to a banquet at my chief clerk's residence tomorrow." Su Nan smiled slightly. "Good. Shenlang thinks he's completely safe with Li Qianxiu's protection. Probably can't wait to put on a show in front of you. Tomorrow, take the opportunity to clean out him and his people completely, especially that big fool. Chop him into pieces and send him to me." He paused, then said coldly, "As for Shenlang's method of death, since he was bold enough to step into Su territory, then let's flay him alive, chop off his bones, and finally behead him." Meanwhile, inside a grain shop in the city, Wu Lai and others, as expected, had a verbal conflict with the shopkeeper. Upon receiving the news, Shenlang, as the newly appointed lord of the city, immediately led people there. When they entered the shop, they found over a dozen armed servants waiting inside. These men, holding large swords, watched Shenlang and his group with a menacing look, as if ready to tear them apart at the slightest wrong word. However, seeing this, Shenlang showed no fear. He stepped forward with a smile and said, "Shopkeeper, congratulations on your prosperity. I am the newly appointed Lord of Distant Guard, here to wish you an early new year." Upon hearing this, the shopkeeper's face immediately darkened. He cursed inwardly. It's more than half a year until New Year. Is this guy seriously ill? Seeing that the shopkeeper remained silent, Shenlang directly asked, "Your shop clearly has plenty of grain, so why won't you sell to us?" The shopkeeper picked up a gold coin and disdainfully looked at Shenlang, saying, "We do not accept gold coins from you kingdom here." Seeing this, Shenlang didn't get angry but continued, "In that case, do you accept gold coins from Chu Kingdom? We are willing to pay double the price for your grain." Before the words were out, the shopkeeper scoffed, "Lord Shen, I've heard you're but a poor son-in-law in you kingdom. As such, I'm very sorry. A poor son-in-law is considered lower than a servant in my country, so we do not do business with son-in-laws." Upon hearing this, Shenlang immediately became furious. "I am the Lord of Distant Guard, and you, a mere merchant, dare to insult an official of the court?" With this statement, the shopkeeper looked even more disdainful. "My goodness, so in you kingdom, even a poor son-in-law can become an official. In our country, such men are despised by everyone, branded on the face, and put in shackles to be slaves." After saying this, he shouted out to the outside, "Someone, go and carve a sign in multiple languages immediately. Make it clear, no dogs or poor son-in-laws allowed." Within moments, as if they had been prepared, they hung a huge sign with this inscription outside the door. This seemed to be a signal, and within a quarter of an hour, similar signs appeared outside shops throughout the small streets and alleys. Seeing this, Shen 13 could no longer contain his anger and drew his sword to strike at the shopkeeper. However, Shenlang calmly stopped him. Then, with a smile still on his face but ice in his eyes, he said, "I didn't expect your country to have such rules. Even I as the city lord shouldn't break them. In that case, I shall take my leave." After saying this, he turned around with his people and walked towards the door. Just as they were leaving, they heard the shopkeeper's disdainful voice from inside, "Quickly dig up the tiles that this unlucky man stepped on and throw them into the latrine. Any table or chair he touched, throw them all out and burn them." Hearing the cursing from inside, Wu Lai and the others couldn't suppress their anger and immediately drew their swords ready to rush back in. However, at the moment they drew their swords, groups of armed servants surged out from various shops, surrounding them completely. Faced with such a situation, Shenlang naturally couldn't let everyone continue to clash, and he also sensed something unusual. Although the foreign trade with Yu Kingdom, Chu Kingdom, and the western regions was mostly controlled by these merchants, the situation now seemed much more complex than it appeared. The attitude of these merchants towards him was clearly targeting Yu Kingdom. Moreover, each shop kept dozens of warriors, which was clearly not normal. There was only one possibility. These western region merchants had already formed a syndicate with the Su family. Shenlang immediately scolded Wu Lai and the others. "What are you doing? We are the official army of Yu Kingdom. These people, no matter which country they are from, as long as they are doing business in Distant Guard and paying taxes to DU, they are making a significant contribution to the country. Whether they are smuggling or dealing in slaves, as long as they contribute, they are our providers. How can you disrespect them? Put your swords away now." This stance from Shenlang instantly stunned all the Westerners present, but the next second, their faces showed disdain. This little son-in-law from Yu Kingdom is really a spineless fool. No wonder he's a son-in-law, with no guts at all, so easily intimidated by us. The attitude of Shenlang instantly bolstered the spirits of the Westerners. One of them sheathed his sword and taunted provocatively, "Listen up, dogs of you. Our water and food, even if we were to feed it to dogs or pigs, we would never sell it to you. Just wait to die of thirst and hunger." Upon hearing this, Wu Lai, unable to contain her anger, stepped forward and demanded, "This is Yu Kingdom territory. Why won't you sell us anything?" The man sneered and responded, "Who told you this is Yu Kingdom's land? This is clearly the Su family's territory, the future Su Kingdom. We people from the western regions are the superior class here in Su Kingdom." The man suddenly placed his hands on his hips, tauntingly said, "Since you want water, I'll give you hot water directly." As he spoke, the warriors behind him began to smirk lewdly, tugging at their trousers and starting to hurl vulgarities at Shenlang and his group. Seeing their shameless behavior, Wu Lai's face turned red with anger, almost ready to burst. However, she forcefully suppressed her rage because Shenlang had warned them not to act rashly no matter what insults they faced here, to avoid disrupting their own plans. At that moment, Shenlang calmly, with a smile, saluted the group. "I didn't expect such brave warriors here, each one impressively formidable. I must admire that. So, continue as you were. I shall return to my mansion." After saying this, he walked away with his people amid the jeers of the Western region warriors. A quarter of an hour later, the first thing Shenlang did upon returning to his mansion was to order all female warriors to wear a mask. Then, he personally led them back onto the streets, shouting along the way, "I am the great thief Kutuhuan, here in Distant Guard City to carry out justice today. You Western region people who urinate everywhere, you have no shame. Wait for me to throw you into the latrine to drown. And you shopkeepers, each one one of you full of greed, surely have squeezed the people dry. I, Kutuhuan, hate such unkind, rich scoundrels the most. Shenlang roared, burn down all these shops, distribute all the gold and silver inside to the townspeople, all the crooked merchants, skin them and light them up, kill them all. The Western region warriors, seeing that Shenlang and his group were only wearing masks and not even changing their clothes to pretend to be Kutuhuan to attack, scoffed and laughed incessantly. But the next second, their laughter froze. Wu Lai gave the order, and all the female warriors, neatly lined up, pulled out their crossbows and fired without hesitation. In an instant, many of the opposing warriors were shot down. Seeing this, the Western region warriors were horrified, exclaiming, "What kind of crossbow is this? Such a small size yet such powerful shooting force." They could never have guessed that these crossbows were made by the so-called poor son-in-law Shenlang, crafted from high-carbon steel using steel refining techniques. Even the arrowheads were made of high-carbon steel, which could penetrate iron armor at close range. As more crossbow bolts flew, a large number of Western region warriors were swiftly reaped. However, the downside of these steel crossbows was their strong tension and slow cocking speed. Soon, a group of Western region warriors broke through the barrage and got up close to the female warriors. Suddenly, a Western region warrior charged at Wu Lai and swung his sword down at her. However, when the blade met Wu Lai's armor, the strong impact left him stunned. What's happening? How can this armor be so hard? At this moment, other Western region people also noticed the unusual equipment of the female warriors, but before they could react, Wu Lai led a close-range counterattack. Soon, the group of Western region men was at a disadvantage. They looked at their broken swords in disbelief, muttering, "This is a battle blade I bought at a high price. How could it be so easily broken? Why do these women have such great strength?" At this moment, Wu Lai, fully embracing her warrior nature, with bloodshot eyes, loudly motivated her troops. "We have sturdy equipment, robust bodies, and strength. Let us annihilate these weak men." As soon as her words fell, another wave of Western region warriors fell. The remaining ones, frightened, dropped their weapons and turned to run. However, as they turned, they saw Shen 13 leading the Jin family cavalry charging from the other side. "You scoundrels, weren't you very arrogant just now, thinking of running? It won't be that easy." At this moment, the pincer attack completely panicked the Western region warriors. Just as they were at a loss, Shenlang suddenly appeared from nowhere and shouted at them fiercely, "You muggles, kneel down and surrender now. Surrender your swords, and you will not be killed." Suddenly, the voice of the grain shopkeeper rang out from the crowd, "Do not surrender. We people from the Western regions will never surrender to the dogs of you." However, before he could finish speaking, a Western region warrior dropped his sword. "I surrender my sword." Following this man's compromise, swords began to drop one after another very quickly. Seeing this, Shenlang stood by, unable to restrain a giddy laugh. "That's right. After all, your life is your own." Then, he quickly walked forward, smiling and said, "Since you are so enlightened, then go ahead and take off your belts and place them on the ground." Upon hearing this, everyone was stunned, but under pressure, they obediently took off their belts. At that moment, Shenlang turned to Wu Lai and said, "Go, strip these guys of their trousers and tie them up." Wu Lai, receiving the order, simply said, "No more talking. Line up." She then led several nimble sisters to carry out Shenlang's orders one by one. This action confused the Western region warriors, leading them to wonder, does this pretty boy have some special fetish? While everyone was puzzled, Shenlang spoke up, "Ladies, please allocate the numbers and castrate them all." Upon hearing this, the Western region warriors immediately panicked, pleading for mercy. "Lord Mayor, we have already surrendered. Please show mercy." However, by then, it was too late for any words. They could only endure the severe pain, watching helplessly as their manhood was removed. At this point, Shenlang's smile disappeared from his face, and he coldly said, "You scum, what do you have to be arrogant about? The way you insulted me earlier, I've only confiscated your tools of crime." After saying this, he glanced at the remnants on the ground, his face showing a look of disgust, and continued, "Relying on your backers, you've been committing murder and arson in my U-Kingdom territory, dominating and bullying my U-Kingdom citizens, and even considering yourselves as superior. How could I, Shenlang, tolerate such evil deeds?" He turned to Wu Lai and the others and said, "All right, ladies, I'll need you to throw them all into the latrine next. Also, call those shopkeepers over to me. I think they should have learned how to speak properly by now." Half an hour later, dozens of shopkeepers were trembling as they knelt in front of Shenlang. Shenlang walked up to them, looking down coldly at them. These Western region merchants, full of greed, smuggling grain and selling slaves in distant Guard City. Protected by the Su family, these merchants have committed countless atrocities against my U-Kingdom citizens, and not one of them is innocent. Shenlang thought for a moment, then suddenly jumped in front of the grain shopkeeper who had been targeting him, smiling and asked, "Tell me, does your country really have a policy in shops stating poor son-in-laws and dogs not allowed?" Hearing this sharp question, the shopkeeper quickly shook his head. Shenlang's face immediately darkened as he coldly asked, "So, do poor son-in-laws in your country really have to be branded on the face, then sent to the army as slaves, and eventually tortured to death?" The shopkeeper was so frightened he couldn't utter a word, just continuously shaking his head. Seeing this, Shenlang dropped his pretense, his eyes cold as he looked at him and said icily, "So, you are were lying to me. You lied and insulted me. Tell me, how should I punish you? Hearing this, the shopkeeper became even more panicked, quickly shouting, "You can't touch me. I am a merchant designated by the king to come to distant guard city. If you touch me, it will surely start a war between the two countries." However, before he could finish, Shenlang coldly interrupted him. "I am the great thief Kutuhuan. I'm not even afraid of the king of you. Why would I fear your ghost king?" Then, Shenlang turned and ordered those behind him, "Kill all of them, except for this old man." As soon as the words left his mouth, the female warriors acted immediately, swords falling, and dozens of heads rolled to the ground instantly. Seeing the headless bodies fall beside him, the shopkeeper screamed in terror, his lower body soaking wet. At this moment, the shopkeeper's look at Shenlang shifted from previous arrogance to endless despair and fear. This pretty-faced lord of the city, could he be a madman? Otherwise, how could he dare to slaughter us Western region people on such a large scale on the Su family's territory? He thought in terror. Then, Shenlang spoke again. "Do you know what lighting a sky lantern is? You seem to like standing out, so I definitely need to give you a unique experience before you die." Ignoring the shopkeeper's pleas, he turned and loudly commanded, "Send the order. Let all the citizens of distant guard city come to the front of the lord's mansion to watch the execution." Moments later, on the streets of distant guard city, the female cavalry shouted as they galloped through the streets and alleys. "People of distant guard city, the Western region warriors who have plagued you, the Western region merchants who have oppressed you, have all been killed by the new lord. Everyone, come to the front of the lord's mansion to witness the last scum being lit up as a sky lantern." An hour later, outside the lord's mansion, the shopkeeper was hung upside down on the gallows, his head covered with a sack, and thousands of citizens had gathered to watch. At that moment, Shenlang stood on the lookout platform of the lord's mansion, looking down at the scene below, and sneered internally, "I didn't expect that of the tens of thousands of you kingdom citizens in distant guard city, only a few thousand have come to watch. It seems they have been oppressed by the Western region people for too long and have developed a deep-seated fear." Even though the Western region people were now dead, the citizens of distant guard city still dared not come out easily, clearly fearing retaliation from the Su family afterwards. Thinking this, Shenlang waved his hand forcefully and shouted, "Executioner, on my command, light the lantern." As soon as his words ended, flames suddenly engulfed the shopkeeper. The long-oppressed citizens below clapped and cheered, their shouts echoing back and forth. Seizing the moment, Shenlang incited further, "My fellow villagers, distant guard city is the territory of you kingdom. Why should these Western region people lord over you? Why should you be enslaved by them? How many of you have they taken each year, sold to other countries as slaves, causing their families to be torn apart? Are you really content with this? Now, I, Shenlang, have come here, assuming the role of Lord of Distant Guard City. From today onwards, the wealth in these Western region merchants' homes is yours. Charge into these merchants' homes. Take back what belongs to you." As his words fell, the people outside the Lord's mansion were stirred into action. Immediately, all the U Kingdom citizens excitedly rushed into the homes of the Western region merchants, beginning a frenzied looting. "There's a toilet there. Take it. Quick, there's more stuff inside. Take it all out." The citizens, shedding their usual timidity, stormed into the merchants' homes like bandits, grabbing whatever they saw. At this time, Shenlang, standing at a distance and watching, couldn't help but sigh. He knew that this method was no different from what the Western region people had done. But with only a few hundred soldiers under his command, if he wanted to completely destabilize White Knight County in a short time, he had no choice but to resort to such despicable means. However, at the root of it all, wasn't it the Su family behind the scenes? Now, I, Shenlang, have opened the first door. Sunan, Distant Guard City has changed hands. Why haven't you made your move yet? What are you waiting for? As night fell, Sulin, Sunan's nephew, returned to Distant Guard City. The leader of 1,000 households hurried forward and reported everything Shenlang had done that day to him. When he heard the account from the leader of 1,000 households, he was stunned. Regaining his composure, he quickly rushed to the commercial streets in the city. When he saw the blazing flames on the streets and the scattered bodies of Western region merchants, his mind went blank. The sky has fallen. This is just like the sky has fallen. I was only away to Distant Guard Marquis' mansion for a few hours. How could Shenlang have turned Distant Guard City upside down in such a short time? Looking at the bodies of the merchants and warriors, as well as the looted property, he gritted his teeth and shouted, "How am I supposed to explain these losses to my superiors?" He then grabbed the leader of 1,000 households, yelling fiercely, "You 3 leaders of 1,000 households command 3,000 troops. Why didn't you send forces to stop him?" The leader of 1,000 households nervously replied, "My lord, you were not here. We did not dare to deploy troops without authorization." Hearing this, Sulin grew even angrier. "A bunch of useless fools. You're great at indulging in pleasures on a normal day, but when it's time for real action, you just shirk responsibility, turning into cowards in the face of real action." Sulin berated the leaders of 1,000 households. Thinking of Sunan's usual ruthlessness, he suddenly shivered. "No, I must kill Shenlang before tomorrow night, or my uncle will definitely not let me off." With that thought, he immediately ordered, "Completely seal the gates of Distant Guard City. No one is allowed in or out. Arm 3,000 soldiers, ready for battle at any moment." At that time, one leader of 1,000 households stepped forward and suggested, "My lord, Lord. Shenlang only has about 200 men with him. It would be easy for our 3,000 troops to eliminate them. Since he claims to be the great thief Kutuhuan, we can simply surround the Lord's mansion under the pretext of capturing Kutuhuan. However, those commoners who have been looting with Shenlang now number over 10,000. I fear. Before the leader of 1,000 households could finish, Su Lin snorted coldly, interrupting, they are nothing but a mob. If Shenlang thinks he can turn the tables with these lowlifes, he is dreaming. Send the order. From now on, except for patrolling soldiers, no one is allowed on the streets, or they will be executed on the spot. Meanwhile, Shenlang was outside the Lord's mansion, passionately giving a speech, brainwashing the citizens of distant Guard City. My fellow villagers, don't forget, this is the territory of Yu Kingdom, and you are the true masters of distant Guard City. The western region people have been cleaned out by me. Rest assured, as long as I, Shenlang, am here as Lord for even one day, I will be your greatest support. I will not let you suffer any oppression again. As soon as his voice fell, the citizens, who had just plundered countless gold and silver, instantly cheered as if invigorated by Shenlang's indoctrination. However, just then, a rumble of horse hooves came from a distance. Quickly, thousands of Su family troops surrounded the Lord's mansion along with the gathered citizens. The previously lively scene was instantly suppressed into dead silence. As the citizens stood there in fear, Su Lin rode out slowly on a tall horse, his face expressionless and his gaze icy as he stared at the crowd, slowly saying, "Are you trying to incite a rebellion?" As soon as these words came out, the previously heightened atmosphere was as if doused with cold water, instantly cooling down. Seeing this, Su Lin continued to intimidate. "One rebels, the whole family pays. It's curfew time now. I will start counting to 5, and if you don't disperse, everyone will be charged with treason." When he began to count, the citizens panicked, hesitating whether to leave. The painful memories of being oppressed for many years were deeply etched in their hearts. How could they easily break free? Seeing this, Wu Lai could no longer contain her anger and shouted loudly, "People of Distant Guard City, the true masters of Distant Guard City are right here beside me. As long as the Lord is here, you don't need to listen to anyone else. Haven't you been oppressed enough over the years? Today, under the leadership of the Lord, we have killed all the Western region people and retrieved what belongs to you. With our protection, do you still need to fear them? Don't forget, there are tens of thousands of you, and those hoes, iron forks, and machetes in your hands are the best weapons. If you fight with us to the end, we can help everyone take back your homes." However, while Wu Lai was passionately shouting from the stage, the crowd below fell into an awkward silence. Su Lin looked on with a mocking gaze and said with a sneer, "Since this sister's words don't resonate with you all, then I will continue counting." Su Lin resumed counting, and the soldiers around him loudly chanted, "Kill! Kill!" Under this terrifying pressure, when Su Lin reached 1, the citizens on the square scattered like startled birds. "Let's go! Run! Go home!" In just a blink of an eye, the square was empty, everyone having fled without a trace. Seeing this, Wu Lai was instantly filled with rage, gritting her teeth and saying, "How can these people be so cowardly and useless? Do they really not trust the Lord to be their support?" Just then, Su Lin suddenly burst into laughter. "My nephew, I truly didn't expect these troublemakers to think about storming the Lord's mansion. Thankfully, I arrived just in time to spare you the fright." Shenlang sneered inwardly, then approached with a polite smile and said, "No worries, no worries. Cousin, since you're here, please come into my mansion. We've got plenty of fresh ingredients today, just right for hosting you well." Su Lin didn't respond, his mind occupied with calculating whether there was a chance to eliminate Shenlang tonight. However, after glancing at Li Qianqiu and Big Fool, 2 top experts standing nearby, he eventually dismissed the idea. Thus, he replied with a smile, "The Lord's mansion must be busy today. I won't impose any further. Tomorrow, when my nephew comes to my chief clerk's mansion for the welcome banquet, we can have a good gathering." Shenlang smiled, bowed in return, and said, "Then thank you for your consideration, cousin." After they bid each other farewell, Su Lin turned and scolded, "Distant Guard City Garrison, are you all incompetent? How could you let the great thief Kutuan break into the Lord's mansion? What if Lord Shen had been injured? Could you bear that responsibility?" After speaking, he looked behind him at the 3 leaders of 1,000 households and sharply ordered, "Tonight, arrange for the strongest experts from the military and a few masters from the Great Calamity Temple to stay here to protect Lord Shen. We must not have any more slip-ups." Upon seeing this, Shenlang laughed and said, "Then I thank all the brothers for your protection. Tonight I can finally have a peaceful sleep." In the evening, the lights were bright at the Distant Guard City Lord's mansion. Although laughter could be heard from the outside, at the dining table, the female generals were indignant, cursing the weakness and incompetence of the city's citizens. A bunch of incompetents. They deserve to be oppressed by the Su family and the Western region people. Listening to their complaints, Shenlang remained silent, just quietly eating his meal. He wasn't angry because he understood that as the common people, long oppressed by a harsh class system and the powerful elite, had become numb and timid. When someone led them to plunder gold and silver, they could charge into battle, but when it really came down to fighting for their lives, they would prefer others to be at the forefront while they hid as far away as possible. At that moment, Wu Lai suddenly stood up and said loudly, "Lord, rest assured, tonight we will be fully alert and will not let the enemy take advantage of us." Shenlang smiled and waved his hand. "Come comforting, relax, relax. Our plan was very successful. Su Lin's target is me. As long as I am alive, they won't attack the Lord's mansion. Tonight, you just need to rest well and gather your strength. Tomorrow, we are going to have a fierce battle, and you will need to be fully energized. Then, he looked towards Li Qianxiu, smiled, and said, Elder, tonight we might as well solidify our coordination. Tomorrow, we have to perform a flawless play in front of Su Lin. The next morning, more than 2,000 of Su's troops began to assemble, along with the monk soldiers from the Great Calamity Temple. A total of 3,000 surrounded the Lord's mansion. Shenlang stood on the lookout tower above, looking down at the scene below, and couldn't help but remark, it's good that we stocked up on enough food and water yesterday, otherwise, we might have been trapped to death here. At that moment, Shen 13 approached and said, Master really foresaw this. The Su family has already prepared crossbows and catapults, and 3,000 troops are now ready for battle. Shenlang sneered, it seems they are eager to attack the Lord's mansion. Just then, as Shenlang turned around, a stunningly beautiful woman appeared behind him. She bowed slightly and said, I have seen Lord Shen. I am here by the order of Lord Su Lin to invite you to a banquet. Is Lord Shen prepared? Upon hearing this, Shenlang immediately showed a lascivious expression and laughed. All set. How could I delay when such a beautiful woman has come to invite me? Wu Lai quickly stepped forward and said, My lord, let me accompany you. Shenlang smiled and waved his hand. No need. You, 13, and the other sisters just stay here and protect the Lord's mansion. With Sword King and Big Fool protecting me, you can rest easy. A quarter of an hour later, Shenlang and his two companions swaggered into Su Lin's chief clerk mansion. At that moment, the banquet hall was filled with fully armed warriors, exuding a murderous aura. Su Lin, upon seeing Shenlang, immediately smiled and said, Nephew, I didn't expect you to actually come. After Shenlang sat down, he smiled back and said, This banquet is specially hosted by my cousin for me. How could I not attend? But since it is specially set for me, why are there no dishes? Su Lin dropped the pretense and directly said, Today's gathering is akin to the feast at Hongmen. Why bother with wine and food? And nephew, since you dared to come, did you ever consider that you yourself might be the dish to accompany the drink today? Hearing this, Shenlang burst out laughing. Cousin really has a sense of humor. With Sword King here to protect me, who could touch me? Su Lin also laughed, but his gaze grew colder. Rest assured, nephew, soon, you will no longer have Sword King's protection. After saying this, he shouted towards the door, Bring the person in. As the words fell, a huge iron cage was carried into the center of the banquet hall. Inside it was Li Qianxiu's wife, her body ravaged by a severe poison. Seeing the person in the cage, Li Qianxiu was instantly furious and shouted, You dare touch my wife. After saying this, he swiftly drew his sword, threatening Su Lin, Release her now, or I'll spill your blood right here. Unexpectedly, at the moment Li Qianxiu drew his sword, all the warriors in the hall simultaneously drew their bows, aiming at the person in the cage. At that moment, Su Lin said with a faint smile, Li Qianxiu, I won't make it difficult for you. I'll count to 5. If you kill Shenlang, I will release your wife. Otherwise, I'm afraid I'll have to let your beloved wife die in his stead. As Su Lin counted down, Li Qianxiu was tormented by the painful decision. Finally, when Su Lin reached 1, Li Qianxiu made up his mind, abruptly drew his sword, and stabbed towards Shenlang's back. The moment the blade pierced the body, Shenlang stood still, as if completely shocked by the sudden turn of events. He looked down at the blade protruding from his chest, then looked up at Li Qianxiu, his voice trembling as he asked, Why? Why betray me? Li Qianxiu couldn't look Shenlang in the eyes and said softly, My wife is my life. I'm sorry. Hearing this, Su Lin burst into laughter. Excellent. Sword King's deep love for his wife is truly touching. I must learn well to love my own wife as you do. Then, he turned to someone behind him and said softly, Darling, did you see? I will love only you, just like Sword King. Su Lin was very pleased, bragging to his wife at the banquet that he would dismember Shenlang and turn his body into a delicacy for everyone to feast on. While Su Lin was reveling in his triumph, Li Qianxiu spoke up, Su Lin, I've done as you asked and killed Shenlang. Now can you release my wife? Su Lin smiled and said, Of course, I will release her. Not only will I let her go, but I will also send someone to Floating Mountain to obtain an antidote for her. After all, from now on, we are all family. Su Lin's wife eagerly approached, urging, Dear, I'm so hungry. Quickly chop up this pretty boy and cook him into a meat soup. And don't forget to keep his skin. Make it into a leather stool. Before she could finish speaking, Big Fool, who had been silent by her side, suddenly lay down on the ground and began sobbing. His trembling body was clearly struggling to suppress his inner grief, yet he was also in immense pain due to his helplessness to change anything. To this, Su Lin felt a stir of emotion. This Big Fool is actually a top martial arts genius. If we could use him for our own, he would certainly become a valuable ally. Alas, my uncle has ordered that he be torn to pieces. What a pity. Thinking this, Su Lin withdrew his thoughts and turned his attention back to Shenlang, sneering, Lord Shen, do you think by killing those Western region merchants, you can reclaim the wealth for the people? Don't forget, this is Su family's territory. Soon, our army will sweep through half of the Western Celestial Province and merge with the Chan Kingdom. The great era of the Su family is about to begin, and your Jin family will cease to exist. He paused, his eyes fierce. Unfortunately, Unfortunately, Shenlang, you won't see the day of our rise. However, before he could finish, Shenlang suddenly turned his head and gave him a strange, mischievous smile. Cousin, you really are quite clever. With these words, Su Lin's scalp tingled, and he exclaimed in shock, what's happening? How can this kid be unharmed? The next second, before he could react, Li Qianqiu suddenly grabbed his neck and lifted him high. The intense sensation of being strangled made Su Lin struggle. His words mixed with threats. Li Qianqiu, put me down. Have you forgotten your wife is still in my hands? But before he could get a response, Shenlang stood up, laughing. Oh cousin, what happened to you? How did you get beaten up by Sword King so quickly? Su Lin's wife, seeing this, was terrified and, trembling, pointed at Shenlang and yelled, weren't you just stabbed and about to die? Why can you still stand up? Shenlang, with a teasing expression, pulled the bloodied sword from his chest and said, my friends of Distant Guard City, the next moment is for witnessing a miracle. Please pay attention. He then inserted the whole sword into his mouth, moved it back and forth a few times, and then said, don't be alarmed. This is just a retractable magic sword, including the wound on my chest. It's just a spring-loaded blade and a blood pack. How about that? Surprised or not? Hearing this, Big Fool, lying on the ground, couldn't help but burst into laughter. This performance has finally ended. Second fool, you really are mischievous, managing to fool them completely. Hearing this conversation, Su Lin was furiously livid, shouting, Li Qianqiu, you keep saying you love your wife. Don't you care about her life and death anymore? Shenlang burst out laughing. Cousin, do you think that if I could invite Sword King to help me, I would leave his wife on the island waiting for you to capture her? As for this monster, it's actually just a mad prisoner. Su Lin completely broke down, roaring, Shenlang, you bastard. You anticipated my moves and prepared everything in advance. Shenlang sneered, Su Lin, do you know what I do most every day? It's thinking from the enemy's perspective. Whatever you can think of, I can think of. Whatever you can't think of, I also think of. Your uncle Su Nan might not be my match. Do you think you can outsmart me with your little tricks? Su Lin desperately shouted. Even so, you won't escape. There are hundreds of warriors surrounding this place. If you release me, I might spare you a way out. Otherwise, I will let you die without a burial place. However, before he could finish speaking, Li Qianqiu suddenly exerted force, snapped his neck, and threw him aside. Then, like lightning, he quickly dealt with all the warriors in the hall and turned to Big Fool, saying, you stay here to protect young Master Shen. I'll clear the people outside. Big Fool nodded in agreement. At this moment, Su Lin's wife screamed, act now. Chop this pretty boy into mince. Countless arrows flew from all directions, and Big Fool swung his steel sword in front of Shenlang to protect him. Seeing this, Shenlang pulled out a dagger and said to Su Lin with a cold smile, cousin, it seems your wife is quite dissatisfied with you. Since that's the case, let me help you out. He plunged the dagger into Su Lin's body, laughing as he stabbed. Cousin, how does it feel? Su Lin's face turned pale, and he gritted his teeth and shouted, damn you, Shenlang, my neck is broken. What kind of feeling do you think I can have? When Shenlang plunged the final dagger thrust, Su Lin screamed in terror, where did your last stab land? Shenlang grinned, sorry, cousin, I accidentally stabbed between your legs just now. Su Lin's wife was shocked by Big Fool's ability to block the dense rain of arrows alone. At that moment, seeing the crossbows ineffective, the Su family warriors drew their swords from their waists, ready to charge forward. Seeing this, Shenlang immediately ordered Big Fool to defend with his eyes closed. Although Big Fool did not understand, he obediently closed his eyes. Shenlang knew that Big Fool, like a tank shield, excelled in defense, and facing so many warriors charging at him, he might lose his composure. Having him defend with his eyes closed, relying solely on his strength and speed, was the best strategy. Indeed, once blindfolded, Big Fool couldn't see the enemies before him, but swung his steel sword even faster, like a propeller. Combined with his terrifying strength, he instantly sent the charging warriors flying. This fearsome combat power even made Li Qianqiu, who had just entered, gasp. Seeing the warriors being slammed against the walls, Su Lin's wife was filled with anger and fear. But as a princess of the Su kingdom, she couldn't bear this humiliation. She picked up a battle sword from the ground and swung it at Big Fool without hesitation. However, the next second, with a loud bang, she was blown away by the force of Big Fool's sword, crashing into a wall. The impact, along with her own body weight, caused her bones to break, and the internal bleeding from ruptured organs led to her instant death. Meanwhile, another wave of Su family soldiers rampaged through Distant Guard City's residential areas, pillaging and defiling women house by house. The leader of 1,000 households rode around, listening to the cries. With a cruel smile, you lowly people dared to loot the western region's great merchants. Now that Shenlang is probably dead in the chief clerk's mansion, I wonder who will come to save you. At the same time, another part of the Su family army was eager to attack the lord's mansion. At the command of the leader of 1,000 households, a dozen catapults launched simultaneously, hurling huge stones that instantly created a large breach in the outer wall of the lord's mansion. After the outer wall collapsed, the Su family army launched a second wave of fire attacks, with countless fire arrows falling from the sky, igniting fierce flames. This intense fire caused the female soldiers defending the lord's mansion to panic. General Wu Lai gritted her teeth and said, the whole lord's mansion is burning now. We might as well break out, or we will be annihilated if we continue to be trapped? Wu Lai asked Shin 13. Did young Master Shin say when he could come back? Although Shin 13 was anxious, he responded to stabilize the morale. He'll be back soon. The master instructed that no matter what happens, we must hold the Lord's mansion. Wu Lai then commanded, all forces, hold the Lord's mansion. Even if we die fighting, without an order, we absolutely cannot leave. Half an hour later, inside the chief clerk's mansion, Sword King Li Qianqiu, standing in the middle of the hall with a dagger in hand, the bodies of Su family warriors scattered around him, had proven who was the ultimate victor. At that moment, Li Qianqiu faced Kunan, the monk from the Great Calamity Temple, and said coldly, "Monk, now it's just you left. Get ready." Unexpectedly, just as he finished speaking, Kunan greeted him with one hand. Ba. Sword King Li Qianqiu is indeed well deserved. I admit I'm not your opponent. However, you've killed 100 people, and your true energy is greatly depleted. Naturally, you can't kill me. Li Qianqiu, without letting him finish, attacked. Too much talk. Whether I can kill you or not, we'll know after trying. Kunan, shocked, hastily dodged, continuing to threaten. Li Qianqiu, wait for it. The Great Calamity Temple will soon send reinforcements, and you'll know then what powerful enemies you've provoked. After saying this, he escaped through the window. Li Qianqiu, watching him flee, shook his head helplessly. These monks from the Great Calamity Temple are indeed cowardly and cunning, running fast. But indeed, my true energy is somewhat depleted. It would indeed be troublesome if a real fight broke out. In a corner, Shin Lang was crouching next to Su Lin, stitching up his wounds. His face carried a bit of guilt, yet he joked, "Cousin, sorry about that. I just couldn't hold back for a moment and accidentally cut off your manhood. Don't worry, I'm stitching it up to stop the bleeding. I won't let you die. Additionally, I must thank you. If it hadn't been for your command to lead troops to recover stolen goods while I was away from the city, it wouldn't have incited such public outrage. Thank you for helping me ignite the fury of the entire city's populace." After finishing, he sewed the last stitch and stood up, instructing, "Big fool, tie Su Lin to the flagpole. He has done so many bad things. Let him do a good deed in his last moments." Moments later, Shin Lang, accompanied by Li Qianqiu and Big Fool, arrived at the main street of Distant Guard City. Looking at the deserted streets, he turned to Big Fool and said, "When I shout later, just repeat after me, got it?" After speaking, Shin Lang yelled down the street, "People of Distant Guard City, I, Shin Lang, have executed the great villain Su Lin right here. But those who broke into your homes to kill, steal, and defile your wives and daughters are still at large. With such deep-seated vengeance, don't you want to seek revenge? Look at Su Lin on the flagpole. He has already been defeated by me, thoroughly finished. What are you still worried about?" People on both sides of the street quietly opened their windows and began to observe and discuss. Seeing this, Shin Lang continued to incite, "Distant Guard City is your home. With me, Shin Lang here, go ahead and boldly reclaim your homeland." As soon as these words were spoken, an injured man led the way out of his house, shouting, "Lord Shin, I want revenge." Then a second person, a third person, numerous men with steel forks and farming tools surged from the sides of the street, shouting in unison, "Avenge and reclaim our homes." Seeing that the moment was right, Shin Lang shouted loudly, "Brothers, arm yourselves. Follow me to clean up those beasts and corrupt officials. Let's thoroughly eliminate the Su family's minions and reclaim our homes." After speaking, he had Big Fool lift Su Lin and follow behind, leading tens of thousands of Distant Guard City citizens towards the Lord's mansion. At this moment, Shin Lang's blood was boiling. "Su Nan, just you wait." At the same time, Su family's 3,000 warriors had stormed into Distant Guard City's Lord's mansion, engaging in fierce combat with Shin Lang's 200 defenders. Shin 13, Wu Lai, and other defenders fought desperately, each displaying incredible fighting power. However, the vast numerical difference gradually put them at a disadvantage. As casualties mounted and the mansion's defenses were about to collapse completely, a thunderous roar came from outside. "Avenge and eradicate these evildoers." Looking towards the source of the sound, the Su family warriors were horrified. They saw Shin Lang leading tens of thousands of Distant Guard City citizens, charging towards the Lord's mansion. Each was armed with sickles and other farm tools, charging in furiously. When the warriors saw the person tied to the flagpole in Big Fool's hands, their faces filled with terror. It was none other than their master, Su Lin, naked and battered. Seeing this, the leader of 1,000 households of the Su family shouted in panic, "All Su family military forces, retreat from the Lord's mansion and form up in the square to face the enemy. Shield bearers to the front, archers at the back, prepare for long-range attacks." As soon as this command was issued, Shin Lang's eyes flashed with cold determination. "We must not let these leader of 1,000 households forces assemble successfully. If the archers were to enter firing range, the tens of thousands of civilians behind him would suffer heavy casualties. Unless," just as Shin Lang thought this, he saw Big Fool wildly swinging the flagpole, rushing towards the enemy like a beast. With a whoosh, he swept away dozens of Su family warriors. By this time, Big Fool had entered a berserk mode, and Su Lin on the flagpole had long been flung somewhere unknown. At this moment, the leader of 1,000 households, seeing his warriors scattered in disarray, felt a chill. How could this giant possess such terrifying strength? Is he even human? Even though Shin Lang had witnessed Big Fool's strength before, he was still profoundly shocked by the display. Big fool's power was becoming even more monstrous. The enemy didn't even have a chance to form ranks before being smashed into disarray. With his current ability, perhaps even a martial arts grandmaster might not be his match. The citizens, seeing Big Fool's bravery, were instantly boosted in morale. Each one waved their weapons and shouted slogans as they charged forward. The surviving female defenders inside the mansion also rushed out and joined the battle. The Su family warriors were overwhelmed by this fierce onslaught and soon started fleeing like dogs who had lost their homes. Seeing this, Shenlang immediately rallied the citizens to intercept. These citizens, long oppressed, harbored deep-seated hatred towards the Su family warriors, and without hesitation, they used their farming tools to strike down these villains. After more than an hour of intense and bloody combat, the battle concluded with a complete victory for the citizens of Distant Guard City. Shenlang's cleanup operation in Distant Guard City was thus brought to a close. At this time, in Chan Kingdom across the snowy mountains, Crown Prince Arutai, although he had taken over the palace after the old Chan King Aragang's death, had not yet ascended to the throne due to two brothers whose forces were not yet eliminated. These two fleeing brothers, to avoid Arutai's pursuit, joined forces and occupied the Snow Mountain Temple. However, Arutai didn't really consider these two ineffective brothers a threat, because the first major obstacle between him and the Su family was his sister Runana, who had an exceptionally high martial power. At this moment, inside the Snow Mountain Temple, these two ineffective princes had been waiting for over 10 days. Seeing that Arutai had not pursued them, they gradually let down their guard, especially the fifth prince, who, due to his love for women and having fled in a hurry without bringing any women to the mountain, was already struggling to restrain himself and wanted to sneak out to find women. However, the meticulous fourth prince opposed this, believing that their current military force was no match for Arutai, and once discovered, they would only have a path to death. During their conversation, suddenly, a guard came to report the former queen and the princess consort had come to seek an audience. The fourth prince was startled, unsure why Arutai hadn't come, but these two vixens from the Su family had. After much deliberation, the two princes decided to meet these two women first. Just stepping out of the temple, they saw two enchanting women standing silently on the snowy ground. They were barefoot, draped in fiery red cloaks, their allure enhanced by the backdrop of white snow. The fifth prince was immediately captivated by the mesmerizing scene before him, and he couldn't help but exclaim internally, "The women of the Su family are indeed bewitching like fox spirits." However, due to his status, he managed to suppress his agitation and asked, "Mothers, I presume Arutai sent you?" Before he could finish, the fourth prince snorted behind him, "Why still call them mothers? These two women have probably already climbed into Arutai's bed. Stop the nonsense. What is your real purpose here?" Hearing this, Suemo smiled seductively and softly said, "The princes worry too much. We are not sent by Arutai, but represent the Su family, looking to form an alliance with you. May we come in to discuss this further?" Hearing this, the fifth prince, unable to restrain himself, immediately wanted to let them into the temple. However, the fourth prince, still somewhat rational, remained suspicious and quickly stood in front of his younger brother. As they argued, Suemo and Su Ning suddenly pulled off their cloaks, revealing their striking figures in an instant. Then, Suemo said with a light laugh, "Please rest assured, your highnesses, we are but two weak women with no strength to even trust a chicken, and under your command are thousands of soldiers. With such a force, surely you are not afraid of us, are you?" At that moment, Su Ning also stripped off her sheer garment, adding, "If the highnesses fear we are hiding weapons, why not search us yourselves?" Her bold move immediately stunned the two princes. After all, they had been suppressing their desires for over half a month in the temple, and now, the fourth prince, faced with the beauty before him, could no longer resist the temptation and slowly nodded, agreeing to their request. Thus, the two women from the Su family successfully entered the Snow Mountain Temple. As soon as they entered, the fifth prince eagerly tried to guide them to sit on the heated khan. He lecherously asked, "Honored mothers, can you now reveal the purpose of your visit?" Suemo and Su Ning chuckled softly, then voluntarily shed their clothes, saying in a coy voice, "It's quite cold in here. Why don't the two princes warm us up first, and then we can discuss further matters?" Before they could finish speaking, they stripped off their last pieces of clothing and threw themselves at the two princes. However, merely a minute later, the eyes of the two princes turned bloodshot, and they collapsed to the ground, foaming at the mouth. Seeing this, a hint of contempt flashed in Sumo's eyes, followed by a loud laugh. Indeed, the lustful never meet a good end. The potent poison of Floating Mountain is well deserved. Just a little poison on the lips, and it's enough to make them die so quickly. The two women quickly dressed and, after beheading the princes, carried their heads into the grand hall. At that moment, Suemo held up the head of the fourth prince and declared sternly, "The rebellious princes of Chan Kingdom have been executed. Now, it's time for you all to make a choice. Will you oppose the new king and meet the same fate, or will you pledge loyalty to the new king and embark on a new journey? The choice is yours." Upon hearing this, the guards were at a loss and began whispering among themselves, "Although these two queens are women, they are so fierce, easily killing two robust princes. If we don't obey, we might end up with the same fate." With this thought, the guards unanimously knelt down and declared, "We are willing to follow the new King Urutai. Long live the Chan King. Thus, Urutai officially ascended to the throne as the new king of Chan Kingdom, and the Su family's critical move against the rebellion had finally been played. At that moment, the bureaucrats and traitors were all kneeling outside the Lord's mansion, awaiting their final judgment. After Wu Lai reported the situation, Shenlang's gaze turned icy, and with a single command, the execution was carried out moments later. Shenlang immediately ordered that Su Lin's head be boxed separately, and the other heads were loaded onto a cart to be sent to distant guard Marquis's mansion. He turned to the last remaining Su family warrior, smirked, and said, "Don't be nervous, I won't kill you. I need you to deliver these heads as a gift to Marquis Sunan. Also, tell him that distant guard city has been cleansed by me. I will also completely eradicate all Su family traitors and dogs in the 5 cities of White Knight County. Make sure he understands how much I miss him, this uncle of mine, and tell him to wash his neck and wait for my arrival. Tell him I will personally chop off his head and completely annihilate the entire Su family." Meanwhile, in the study of distant guard Marquis's mansion, Sunan was anxiously awaiting news of Su Lin's attack on the Lord's mansion. To him, Shenlang was just a slightly intelligent minor character. The idea that a mere 200 female guards could challenge his thousands of elite troops was sheer fantasy. Now, in Sunan's view, the situation in distant guard city was already settled, and there was no need for further concern. What he was most interested in was the subsequent strategic deployment. The army of 150,000 from the Chu Kingdom was already nearing the Yu Kingdom's border. Once the internal turmoil in Chan Kingdom was settled, Urutai could lead tens of thousands of troops into Yu Kingdom's territory. At that time, the successful convergence of Su family and Chan Kingdom troops could easily seize the entire White Knight County. Thinking this, Sunan, confident of victory, couldn't help but laugh out loud. "Ning Yuan Xian, oh Ning Yuan Xian, you actually dream of stopping my Su family within White Knight County with just Zhang Chong and that pretty boy Shenlang? It's pure fantasy. Just wait. In no more than a month, the entire southern region of Western Celestial Province will belong to the Su family." Just then, his confidant Su Yong hurriedly entered the room. "Master, someone from distant guard city has arrived." Sunan frowned and said, "How come that useless Su Lin has only finished now?" Bringing Shenlang's head quickly. Moments later, a Su family warrior tentatively carried in a wooden box. Sunan took the box, puzzled. "I'm not going to eat you. Why are you so nervous?" Seeing that the warrior dared not reply, Sunan didn't bother with him further. He casually opened the wooden box and ordered, "Find a skilled goldsmith. I want to make Shenlang's skull into a drinking cup." However, before he could finish his sentence, when he saw Su Lin's head in the box, he froze completely. The warrior then trembled as he reported, "My lord, distant guard city has fallen, and the entire leader of 1,000 households' army has been wiped out by Shenlang." Upon hearing this, Sunan was struck as if by lightning, and he roared in disbelief. "How is this possible? Shenlang only had 200 troops. Are the 3,000 troops in distant guard city all useless? And Sword King's wife is in our hands. Did he really not care about his most beloved wife to save Shenlang?" At this moment, Sunan's elder brother, Su Quan, who had received the news, hurried over. When he saw Su Lin's head in the box, he immediately burst into tears, overwhelmed by grief. Sunan suppressed the anger in his heart and asked coldly, "What exactly happened in distant guard city?" The warrior bowed deeply, terrified as he recalled, "My lord, the woman we captured was not Sword King Li Qianxiu's wife at all." Shenlang had anticipated this and had already moved the real Sword King's wife. Hearing this, Sunan was utterly shocked. He gritted his teeth and muttered, "Shenlang, I truly underestimated you. Not only did you predict that I would target Sword King, but you also managed to create a fake disease that mimics the effects of the poison from Floating Mountain. How did you do it?" He then pressed, "You said the 3,000 troops in distant guard city were all slaughtered. What happened there?" The warrior, recalling the horrific battle, shuddered with fear and detailed everything that happened after Shenlang stormed the chief clerk's mansion. When he mentioned how Shenlang crippled Su Lin and then paraded him on a flagpole through the streets, Sunan couldn't help but interrupt him. At this moment, Sunan finally understood why Su Lin had lost. He sneered, "Over the years, Su Lin bullied men and women in distant guard city, committing all sorts of atrocities. I never thought Shenlang would use this to ignite the fury of the entire city's populace. In just one day, he crushed my thousands of elite soldiers. Shenlang, you are indeed ruthless." Just then, a message came from outside. "My lord, Kunan, the head monk, seeks an audience." Sunan's expression darkened, thinking to himself, Kunan could have come much earlier to report but chose this moment to come, clearly looking to capitalize on the situation and hike up his price. But he also knew that now was the time when he needed the military strength of Great Calamity Temple, and a lack of patience could disrupt larger plans. So, he quickly adjusted his expression and warmly welcomed the guest. Kunan, the head monk, merely scowled, returned the greeting casually, and sat down without further ado, getting straight to the point. "I did not expect Shenlang to repeatedly provoke the authority of Great Calamity Temple. To uphold the dignity of Great Calamity Temple's decrees, I have decided to return to the temple, mobilize the monk soldiers, and bring Shenlang back to face divine punishment. Additionally, Great Calamity Temple can provide 5,000 monk soldiers to assist assist you in seizing the Western Celestial Province. However, afterward, Great Calamity Temple's influence must return to Western Celestial. Sunan, overjoyed, quickly bowed and promised, "Rest assured, Master, as a disciple of Great Calamity Temple, I will do my utmost to construct a magnificent temple for Dharma deity." Kunan shook his head and said indifferently, "Great Calamity Temple already has Snow Mountain Temple. Our Dharma deity needs a Great Calamity Palace." Sunan was taken aback upon hearing this. Kunan's demands were indeed lofty, not to mention the cost of constructing the Great Calamity Palace. Just the land area required would equal 3 or 4 Snow Mountain temples. If this news reached the ears of the Emperor of the Great Flame Empire, it might stir up serious trouble. However, given the urgent situation, it might be better to agree now and devise a strategy later. Thinking this, Sunan directly looked up and said, "Then, that's settled." Upon hearing this, Kunan immediately stood up, bowed, and responded, "In that case, I will depart immediately to mobilize troops from Great Calamity Temple and will arrive within half a month." After Kunan left, Suquan approached and said, "My lord, I am willing to lead 5,000 troops to attack Shenlang and retake Distant Guard City." Sunan shook his head without responding to him and turned to Suyong, ordering, "You set off immediately to the Demon Rock Mountain within Chu Kingdom's territory and request that the Great Master Ban Roa of Chu come down from the mountain to assist me." After speaking, he handed Suyong a box, instructing, "If she refuses to come down the mountain to confront Li Qianqiu, give her this box. I believe she will agree once she sees it." Once Suyong left with his orders, Sunan turned to Suquan and said, "Brother, I know you seek revenge, but now is not the time. I need you to lead 5,000 troops to Distant Guard City immediately. But remember, only surround them, do not attack. The city has limited supplies of food and materials. We just need to starve them out."